I remember the first time where a dram kind of hit me and I got the bug. It was an Ardbeg. It was just like this peat and fire and smoke, and I was like, wow, this is something. So yeah. I mean, it does depend on the mood, who's buying, always. Always say the best drams are ones that are free, you know. But yeah, I mean, I've got, you know, like my 5 or 6 drams that I love, but all the time it would actually be Elderfroig 10, because it just reminds me of what whiskey should be, just dirty and earthy and a slap in the face, which sometimes you need in life. So yeah, that's what I'll go to, Elderfroig 10. I have many, and a lot of people will be surprised when they do come to my house and they see my whiskey collection. I've got the 5 or 6 whiskies. It's probably the worst whiskey boy band set up in the world. But one of them that people are always surprised is actually a bottle of Bell's, and it's from the 80s. It had to be an 80s bottle, because it just reminds me of family and Christmas, of when that was in everyone's cupboard, everyone's house in Scotland. So a bottle of Bell's from the 80s. Again, you know, I always, you know, say this in the whiskey industry when I'm doing whiskey tastings, and no one should ever tell you how to drink your whiskey. If you've paid for it, have it how the hell you want. I don't care if it's ice water with Coke, tea, coffee, porridge. You know, I always say if it's the first time you've tried that distillery or that whiskey, try it neat first and then do whatever you want with it. Personally, again, it does depend on the dram, but I think 1 cube of ice does everything. Twaddle, absolute twaddle. Because it is only one person's opinion. And I've always said that whiskey is all about conversation and bringing people together. You can have, you and me, like we can have the same drams, the exact same drams. We've got 2 different palates, 2 different imaginations, 2 different upbringings. You know, whiskey's all about debate, bringing people together. It is the conversational whiskey and drink. It has to be Islay. You know, a lot of people say, you know, Spaceside's incredible with all the distilleries, but there's just something really old school and just magical about Islay. You know, it's like just stepping back in time. I love it. I mean, I don't really have many heroes. The only hero is my dad, you know, and he has the odd tipple now and again, but not too much. But you should only ever have one hero in your life, and it should be, I think, your dad or your mum. Whiskey cocktail, it's something I know I didn't invent, but I always say that I did, but probably about 1 billion people did. I love espresso martinis, but I hate vodka. And I love coffee, so I always go for a smoky, like I put a Lefroy or an Ardbeg or Bowmore instead of the vodka. So it's sort of a whiskey martini-esque espresso martini. So yeah. Oh, Freddie Mercury. I would love just to sit down, ask him about how he wrote those amazing songs, his life. You know, I think he's just an incredible guy. You know, I've got lots of actors who I admire. Brian Cox, for one. Lucky enough to do a radio play with him on his birthday, which was fantastic. So I shared a bit of cake with him. I wish I shared a dram with him, but I didn't. Maybe next time. But so many. I mean, but at the end of the day, you know, I think sharing a dram with my dad is number 1. Never liked, never. I mean, we always say there's no bad whiskies. There's just some better than others. And it's a lot of different factors that go into it. You know, I think if anyone, you know, has bought you a whiskey, you know, it's a big thank you. You know, I'll try anything once. You would think it would be a Lefroy 10, but it's not. Again, it is going to be a Bell's whiskey. Because a lot of people give, you know, blends a hard time. But if they really knew the industry, if it wasn't for blended whiskey, we wouldn't have a Scottish industry whatsoever. And, you know, if it wasn't for some blends, some towns, some communities would not exist during the hard times. You know, blends made them survive. So I think we need to give blends a little bit more love.